All right, everyone. Good morning and welcome to a brand new week for the morning briefing on the Celtic Way. I am Hamish and I'm joined by Tony. Did you enjoy a wee, I don't know, did you get a weekend off or did it make matters more difficult for you there not being a game?
It's kind of on and off. I hate not having football at the weekend. It drives me absolutely insane. It just drives me balmy, really. But yeah, I hate when a game gets called off like that. But we was kind of on and off, monitoring everything that was going on and stuff like that. But yeah, it was, I guess, an impromptu break, but didn't want it, but we got it. So there you go. But it didn't. Celtic exactly didn't sleep over the weekend either. There's lots of stuff going on. Lots of the rumour mill still going into overdrive. And, so yeah, it's kept kind of on my toes with all that stuff.
Yeah, there's no shortage of talking points, even though we didn't have a game at the weekend. And I know they've rescheduled the Dundee game just for next Wednesday, so they're not hanging around. So we'll have got a game in hand on the rest of the league, but that won't be for too long. I sense we might not discuss on the pitch things too much today, Tony, because it's transfer stuff that's dominating. We do have a big game on Wednesday, though. Aston Villa. I'm kind of really looking forward to that game, actually. Just knowing that the pressure's really all on them and go and see what we can do in the game, knowing we don't need a result. But it's going to be a good one, isn't it?
Oh, I can't wait. Myself and Ryan are heading down a road trip to Birmingham tomorrow morning. Yeah, early start for myself and Ryan. Yeah, I think we'll be leaving about 7:30 in the morning, something like that, but don't care. We're really looking forward to that. I think Aston Villa are doing their press conference at some point in the afternoon. Celtic will do theirs at night. So, but yeah, really looking forward to that. Putting your wits against a Premiership, the English Premier League team who are going very well at the minute. So yeah, that's and lots of conflicting arguments about how people want Celtic to do in this one. If they win, they get a harder tie, or if they draw, they might get somebody, one of the lesser likes that are still in the top 24. I don't really care. It's a Celtic match. I want them to win, and they get who they get in the draw. That's my feelings on it. You're there on merit, and I would like to claim a English Premier League scalp if we can.
100%. I mean, I want us to finish as high up the table as we can, because I think that's we know. I think we know we're going to finish inside. Is it top 22, 21? I think we can't drop much further than that. But if you get a draw, there's a chance that you finish in the teens, which would be a hell of an achievement, I think, for a team from Scotland, given that there's nearly 40 teams in the league.
And there's money as well to be made, Hamish.
Yeah.
£2 million, I think.
And also where you finish in the league, I think you get more money. So
more money as well. So it's all. I want Celtic to maximise their revenue from this appearance in the Champions League phase and beyond.
Yeah. Okay. I see they've got some injury issues as well. Tyrone Mings went off at the weekend, so I think they've sold another defender. Is it Carlos? I don't really follow English football, Tony, I must say, so I'm struggling a wee bit. I think it's Carlos. Is it Diego Carlos, the player they've lost? And there's another guy, Pau Torres, who's injured as well. So I think they're down to one centre back, Villa.
I have to say, I don't have an English team, Hamish. Lots of people say they have English teams, and I'm of the opinion, and I've always said this, that you can maybe like teams and for whatever reason, but you can't support another football team. You have one team only, and my one team and one team only is Celtic. Always has been, always will be. I've liked various teams throughout history. I like the Nottingham Forest team under Clough. I think everybody liked the Liverpool team of Kenny Dalglish and all that kind of stuff, but never supported them. Don't get upset when they get beat. Don't really care if they get beat. I care about Celtic and always have done and always will do. So anyone who says they support another team, it's purely their prerogative. Don't take issue with it, but I just support. I'm a one club supporting man, and that team plays in green and white, and they're called Celtic. So good luck if you can support other teams from other leagues. Don't know how you manage to do that, but hey, that's fine. It's not me.
Yeah, listen, a few people chatting about Kyogo, who is still a Celtic player, probably won't be for much longer, though. There was kind of rumours going about yesterday, and Dennis and Isaac are picking up on it, saying, has he failed his medical? Now, we've actually just put something up on our website, celticway.co.uk, and it's from a report from the French outlet West France, who are the kind of one of the original ones based in Rennes, one of the original ones to report this. Now, the reason they're given for the delay in the Kyogo's move to Rennes being announced is, according to them, Celtic want to coincide the announcement of Furahashi's departure with the announcement of Jota's signing, which is something I actually mentioned earlier on my own channel. The fact that I feel that obviously losing Kyogo is a hell of a blow for the club, and it's it's obviously not a good thing to have one of the most loved players of the last 10, 15 years leaving. But if you coincide that with announcing Jota, it becomes a more positive thing. And that's the way these things work. So I'm not surprised to hear that. That I think Kyogo's deal's done and is just ready to be announced. But it seems like we're just waiting until Jota's in the same place so we can announce them in a bit of a wonder, which I guess kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense to me. And I think that's just the internet rumour going wild again, isn't it? That's what happens, and then these things become truth, and then questions are asked. But I don't think there's any problems with it. I think I'm preparing myself for both of those to be announced today. And speaking of Kyogo, I'll just flick this up. I, for your delectation, described all 85 Kyogo goals and put it on the website over the weekend.
Oh, wow.
Also appeared in the Herald newspaper. So I remember doing it for 242 of the King of Kings, Henrik Larsson's goals when he left. We did a pull out to him when I worked at the Daily Record at the time, and I described all of those goals. The great man actually signed it for me as well, because I was at a night out at Celtic Park and he was there, and told the story before, and he signed it and signed every page. So it's a wonderful souvenir. But I did it for Kyogo because I felt that he deserved the same treatment. Not comparing the two in any shape or form, but I think lots of people have compared them or saying he's the best finisher they've seen at the club since Larsson. You mentioned it yourself, he's one of the most important players Celtic have had in the club past 15 years. And I just thought he deserved a fitting tribute like that as well. So all 85 goals are on the website, guys. Description of them all, from the first against Jablonec to his last against Ross County. I'll leave it up to yourself to decide which one's your favourite, but you can go through it. It's a long read, but if you've got time and you're of an inclination to do that, then I would recommend it, because it's nice. Some lovely memories there, Hamish, even myself. It jogged memory too, because you kind of forget, don't you? But I enjoy doing it. Sometimes your job can be a labour of love, and that was one of those tasks.
Yeah, no, well worth it. And I've not actually caught that yet, but I'm definitely after this going to sit and read it. And it'll be interesting to read it actually and have the image of the goals come into your mind, because we'll remember most of them. I guess the obvious thing to ask, Tony, we'll open this up to everyone else commenting as well. What's your favourite one? Having written about all of them, what's the one that sticks out most?
Do you know, I think my favourite one, and probably a lot of people agree with this, was the one he put into the top corner against Rangers.
Right.
I just loved that, and for its simplicity in the finish, I also loved the goal he scored against Ferencváros with the Jota pass.
Yeah.
I think that's probably more apt for today, but that pass is sensational. I think it was voted the UEFA best goal of the round, I believe, but it's just a brilliant goal. Just two guys in sync. That synchronicity where a player of utter quality spots another player of utter quality's run, and then pings like 60-yard diagonal, just like a bullet, and the wee man just takes it in his stride and slots it away, and you just think to yourself, it was such a... Because lots of Kyogo goals were the same, weren't they? Shade mark, near post run, one-touch finish.
Went through a phase under Postecoglou where every goal was just like that, and the tap-ins, but so effective.
So, and also the two against Hips, everybody in the league final, I think the lob and all that kind of stuff. So, to narrow it down to my favourites, very difficult, but that's probably my three favourite, if I can do a kind of 1, 2, 3. But everybody will differ, but for their own various reasons. But what I do know is he gave everybody lots of wonderful memories, and and he leaves. And I think there is a sadness and a sorrow that he's gone, but
yeah,
we move on. We always have, and we'll unearth someone else. And maybe I still agree with yourself that it was the right time to part company. I think strikers at Celtic have shelf lives, and I just think it was maybe coming to the end of his shelf life at Celtic, and I'm delighted with what he produced. He made me very happy on many occasions. There's 85 of them.
Yeah,
a start,
But you spoke about Henrik Larsson, and Henrik Larsson was brilliant at Celtic this whole time at the club, and he left probably. I mean, I wasn't watching Celtic at that stage, but I think he left being as good as he'd ever been, pretty much. And obviously showed that by going to one of the biggest clubs in the world, well, two of them after, and obviously Celtic are one of them as well. But Kyogo kind of similar, I would say. I know maybe he tailed off slightly, but I mean, you look at his last game at Champions League level on Wednesday night, and he was still outstanding. And I think that will reflect really well on him. I mean, I'll remember Kyogo so fondly. The moments he gave us. I mean, you look at plucking a guy from the other side of the world who very few of us had heard of at that time. And obviously Ange Postecoglou was the reason that he came. But the impact he had, all those goals against Rangers, all those goals in cup finals, the Champions League and European goals. I mean, the guy was unbelievable, and what a loss he is going to be. But yeah, I agree with. I'm glad to see a lot of people saying that Hibs goal, the chip at Hampden, or the lob at Hampden from the Tom Rogic free kick was just. That's my favourite goal, definitely. I know there was a mention of the one at Ibrox as well, the volley or half volley he had. That was stunning as well.
Yeah, of course. I listen. I think that the lob against Hibs was because you kind of knew then in that moment that the kind of rebuild was forming. You felt then that actually Ange and this team are onto something. The way they responded by going a goal down, like I think less than 30 seconds later, the wee man's banged it in for equaliser.
What a goal that was as well, by the way. That first touch.
Exactly. Another great goal that's kind of missed in all of this, but he scored many. But I think you felt that scepticism that you might have had about Ange coming in and these players doing a job for your club, it was swept away that day emphatically. And then there's that wonderful image of Ange holding Kyogo like he's holding his son. You just knew then. And you said it there, he arrived an unknown, Hamish. I don't care what anybody says. He was very much an unknown. But not unknown to Ange, who had local knowledge of this guy playing and knew what he could bring to this football club. And I think you big up the two of them, Ange for bringing him and Kyogo for what he provided. And I think it's not hyperbole to say that he also leaves like the King of Kings did, a goal-scoring legend. My only caveat to that is I would love them to have hung around and scored 100 goals for Celtic.
Yeah.
They'd managed that. But he's 85, well, nevertheless not any less special than anybody else who has managed over 100 goals. But I just think he was and we got him at the right time, I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, his best years.
3.5 years.
His best years.
Yeah, of course, without a doubt. And I always say when these things happen, it's now echoing the Bunnyman time, innit? Bring on the new Messiah, as in the goal scoring Messiah. So we shall wait to see who that will be. But they always unearth one, Hamish. It's not as if life goes on, Celtic goes on, football goes on. There will be someone else to take his place in the coming weeks.
I'm sure he'll be back at Celtic Park one day doing the half-time draw. Do you know what I mean? Just final comment on Kyogo, because you actually take it for granted now, but you think of what a dark place Celtic Park was in the COVID season, and even the summer after that. It was a grim place. And for me, I know there was other players that did it, and Postecoglou and guys like Jota and Abada, Hatate, but Kyogo for me was, and I think for a lot of people, will be the one who took us from those dark days into the winning days that we've got now. So I'll always be grateful for what he did for the club, and wish him well. And and all of that stuff. So is today the Jota day then, Tony?
Today's Jota day for me. Yeah, I think it's in the pipeline, isn't it? It's not football's kind of open secret now, isn't it? So we're just waiting for Celtic to finally announce them. You just know that maybe the delay is the fact that they're maybe going to be creative with it. I don't know. I'm hoping that they do something kind of very creative. The PR team have been all over these kind of things the past wee while, so I wouldn't. Well, I'm going to say I wouldn't. I don't really care how it's announced, but I'm sure they'll got the creative juices flowing with Jota, and I'm sure Jota wouldn't want it to be an ordinary announcement either, So, but I'm delighted he's coming back, Hamish. I don't know about you. He's the one player of the recent, since the Ange era, he's the one player I've wanted back. So, my personal delight knows no bounds. I'm just trying to keep a lid on it here, but I loved him when he was here. I loved what he brought. And I just loved the fact that he himself said he fell in love with the club. It's like you and me going to Portugal and falling in love with either Benfica or Sporting Lisbon and really taking it to your heart. This guy did not know what he was coming into. He said it himself. And he said he's never felt a football love like it. And he hasn't found it since he left, which is why he wants to return. And again, we're getting him at a time when he'll produce his best years. He's 25. People forget he's only 25. And I think there's an old adage in football, don't go back because it doesn't work. There is no way that this ain't going to work. Jota coming back. And I'm fully behind it. And I say well done to Celtic because I think they've acted like a big club in this moment. Because I think the blow of losing Kyogo could have affected the support and the morale so badly. But to bring in Jota is absolutely superb. And I always felt that he would come back one day. I didn't think he'd come back so soon. Yeah. And because of how he felt about the club, and I've said before, once this gets under your skin, it's very hard to let it go. And that's what's happened here. And I think he's coming back to a place where he's loved and adored. We all understand the reasons why he left. And, yep, he's got a healthy bank balance, but there is no substitute for being happy and playing football, scoring goals, creating goals, and being in a place where everybody thinks the world of you.
There's been a couple of, I think personally, a couple of misconceptions about Jota in recent days that I've heard on various places. I've heard people saying that Jota didn't work hard. And that's not how I remember it. Like people saying he was a bit of a luxury player, and I really don't remember Jota like that. I thought, for a start, you wouldn't have played in an Ange Postecoglou team if you didn't work hard. I thought his energy, both with the ball and without the ball, was immense. So I don't have an issue with that. And the other one I've seen is potentially that he'll have lost his hunger now because he's made all his money. And he doesn't strike me as a guy motivated by money. I mean, I think virtually everyone would have taken that opportunity he did for those astronomical wages in Saudi Arabia. But I think, I think he's a guy motivated by playing for a big club and being adored and winning things. It always struck me that he and Matt O'Reilly were best pals at Celtic. And I think we all know that Matt O'Reilly's very kind of driven. And I always think they wouldn't have been so close if Jota was a guy that wasn't invested in the team and working hard and winning things, if he was just there to get a paycheck. So, I mean, I got a comment in there about, it might take him some time to get up to speed. It was Isaac just saying a bit concerning. Listen, that's fine. I mean, that's a fair comment. He's not played much. But the point you made, when he signed originally, he hadn't been playing much up to that point. And it took him a wee while to kind of get up to speed. So I think it'll be the same again. The beauty for it is that we don't need Jota to come in and hit the ground running like the first time. We've got Diaz and Maida there now. Jota can just take his time, make impact off the bench, and then gradually grow to being the Jota that we love.
And also, I think adrenaline alone would carry you through these games initially. When Jota comes on to make an impact, that there's a reciprocal love here for this player, and he's going to want to give it back.
Yeah.
So any minutes he gets, he'll be trying. And as far as the luxury players concerned, I've seen some luxury players at Celtic. Jota was not a luxury player.
No, he wasn't.
Jota was class. You know, you only need to look at his statistics to tell you that, in terms of goals and assists, and that tells you how well Kuhn's did this season, because he surpassed Jota's best season in terms of goal contribution and assists. But that shows me that Jota will have a look at that and think, okay, I want to do that as well. I want to remind everybody what I once was, because he did go, when he left, he was very much out of sight and out of mind. And you were troubled by the fact that he couldn't settle in Saudi Arabia, and then he went to France. Yeah, and I agree with. I don't think he's got much to prove to the Celtic supporters in that sense. The only thing he'll have to prove to himself is that, playing regular football, I get it. I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, players are rich. See, if they're not playing, they're unhappy. And I get back to it. He hasn't found a football home the way he did when he left Celtic, and he knew at the time that it was a big wrench to leave the club, hence his Instagram message and all of that. But I don't think he knew how badly it would go in the 2 years since he's left. And you come back to what you know, I believe, and I think he's just thinking that this is the right time, and he'll be under the right manager. And if Brendan Rodgers can improve Jota, what a player you'll have, because that's what Brendan Rodgers does. He improves players, he improves their output. And it might take a bit of time, but I think the one thing he has, as you just said there, he's got time. He's coming into a team 13 points ahead, 10 at the minute, stroke 13 points ahead in the league. They're in the next round of the cup. They've won the first cup, so he's coming into a good thing and can be that impact player for a while till he does get up to speed. But I don't think Jota will be content in being an impact player. I think he'll be
but that's what you want.
Exactly. Right. So try to tell Jota, you'll be like that. Let me loose. Cut me loose.
Dyson, move. And Dyson will just be going, because I'm Dyson Maida and I want to play. It's amazing competition. And by the way, it's almost unfair to Scottish football that you've got Jota on one wing potentially and Nicholas Kuhn on the other. I mean, and James Forrest and Dyson Maida in the background. Well, that's harsh on those two because they've given us so much. But you know what I mean? Talk about that as your four wingers: Jota, Kuhn, Forrest, Maida. I mean, it's ridiculous.
And that's not for Scottish football, Hamish.
Well,
that's for European football.
Yeah.
So that's why I say you big up Celtic for acting like a big club. Because if you lose your star striker, it's a blow. But they're cushioning that with the fact, you know what, that's fine. We're ready for that. The manager said the player has to go. If the player wants to go, he leaves, fine. But we're also bringing in this piece of quality, and they'll get another bit of quality in terms of the striker, either in this window or in the summer, to take it to the levels that you want to go at. But you're still allowed 3 players for the next round, the playoff round. I think Celtic will bring in a striker before the January window shuts, which shuts in February the 3rd, doesn't it? So we've still got a wee bit of time yet. Lots of links, Viesgarten, Evan Ferguson, stuff like that. So we shall see how that pans out. But I, for one, I can't see any negativity with Jota coming back. I'm like, come home to what you know, and it'll be like hooking up with an old friend. You'll just go straight back into the old routine. And the first goal he scores, or the first assist, or the first thing of note that he does, will be cheered to the rafters. And I think the player will feel it himself as well. I think it'll tell you himself. I'm sure when he speaks to the press, he'll tell you himself. It's a love that he didn't find in his travels. Can't wait.
It actually genuinely just makes you smile thinking about Jota coming back and the prospect. Imagine we sign a striker as well. And I mean, a lot of people talking about that and saying, it'll be a disgrace if we don't sign a striker. Brendan Rodgers said on Friday, he was asked about, Dyson Maida, and can Dyson Maida play up there? And Rodgers said, yes, he can, but I want to bring in another striker. He was very clear about that. So Celtic are going to try to sign a striker. I'm pretty confident we are going to sign a striker. I think it personally, it would be, gross mismanagement to go into the rest of the season, including the Champions League playoffs, with only Adam Ida as your only real proven out-and-out striker, because I'm not including Maida, because I think he's more of a left winger under the manager. So we're going to sign someone. Matthias Kvistgaarden is the big one that's been spoken about. They're talking big money for him, but Celtic have big money. We're getting big money for Kyogo going. And again, we need to act like a big club. I actually haven't really looked into this guy up until today. And I must say, his scoring record's very impressive. And he seems to be a similar player to Kyogo. And I think that's important that we keep that variation, because I think Ida's different to Kyogo. And I'd want another player similar to Kyogo to replace Kyogo, so that we have different ways of playing. So that was one of the things about, Evan Ferguson, and that's probably unlikely anyway, but he strikes me as a player similar to Ida in terms of being a bit taller and good in the air, etc. So I'd want someone like Kvistgaard. But then again, Tony, it could be someone we've not heard of, but you would hope the club would be prepared for this, because Brendan Rodgers said they'd known about Kyogo for a while.
This is when you act like a big club and you go and sign somebody, and if they shell out a lot of money for a proven goal scorer, then so be it. It's there. But you are preparing, yes, for the playoff round of Europe, because you've got 3 players you can register that are eligible to play in the next round. But you're also preparing for next year as well, when you're going to have to negotiate a qualifier, aren't you, to get into the league phase. So that starts now. Your preparation starts now in terms of who you recruit and the playoff round, and you take it as far as you can with whoever you get in the draw. But your preparation for everything that you're going to have to go through next year, i.e. in terms of a qualifier to get into the league phase, that starts now. So that starts with, we've touched upon that, you act like a big club when you go and sign a striker. The financial means are there, the financial wherewithal to do it, to go and get somebody of repute. If it's Kvistgaarden, go and get him. If it's someone else that we've not heard about, fine, I'm happy with that it's not came out yet, and whoever that is. But I think the manager said himself that they're actively trying to sign a striker. So it would be negligent if they didn't sign a striker before February the 3rd. I don't expect them not to. I'm fully expecting, once this Jota deal's announced, either today or at some point this week, and once the Villa game's out the road, Celtic to go about their business in that sense before February the 3rd. And it'll get ramped up in the next few days without a doubt. So yeah, I'm actually quite happy the way things are happening on and off the field, Hamish. Disappointed the game got cancelled on Saturday, but you have to respect the elements and the conditions, and it was probably the wisest decision, and it's not the worst decision in terms of preparation for Aston Villa on Wednesday as well. So I bear that in mind. But I think right now, as we're Celtic are not only looking ahead to Wednesday and the European run beyond that in the playoff round, they're looking to next year to get guys that big game experience before you get whoever you get, assuming you win the title and you go into a playoff round, a qualifier basically, to get you back to this stage. So I think Rodgers is thinking long term as well, big picture here.
Yeah, one round of qualifying I think we're looking at if we win the league. So not straight into the Champions League, but still a big opportunity.
So you've got to get your team prepared for that, haven't you?
Yeah, and that's what he's doing. Yeah.
And that's what I think he's doing. And no more falling to use because you're ill prepared, and then you sign someone after you've been knocked out, in order to assuage everybody and pacify them. Nah, those days are for me are gone, because Celtic are now, acting like the big club that we all know they are and can be, which pleases me greatly. I love domestic dominance, Hamish, but me and you have spoken for a long time about taking that next step and being a noise in Europe, and that's all I've ever wanted for the club.
Yeah, it's just brilliant times, isn't it, when you think about the fact that we're going into a game at Villa Park this midweek, knowing that we don't need a result, that we've already secured, passage to the knockout rounds of the Champions League. We're so many points clear at the top of the Premiership. I think 10 points clear with a game in hand, one trophy in the bag, looking good in the Scottish Cup. and the team's building. I mean, we've not even mentioned Kieran Tierney. And who knows whether we sign Tierney this month or whenever, but he's going to be with us next season, clearly. And I mean, Kieran Tierney's going to take us up the levels as well. I mean, we really are, this team really, when you look across the team from Alistair Johnson and Cameron Carter-Vickers. I made the point earlier, like, see if you're thinking of your dream Celtic team of like the last decade and a half, there's maybe like 5 or 6 of them
still there,
currently be in the team in a couple of weeks. Like, I mean, Tierney would be the best left back you've seen at Celtic, for me anyway, of the last 10, 15 years. Johnson's the best right back. Carter-Vickers is the best centre back alongside Van Dijk. McGregor's in that team. Jota, Kuhn are in that team. Like, it's properly exciting stuff. Schmeichel's not a bad goalkeeper to have. So, no, it's brilliant.
And also, you mentioned Wednesday, and to quote the manager last season, who said at one point, looking forward to a Rangers game that they could have fun. This is an opportunity to go out and have fun and enjoy it and express yourself and show
it to an English team.
Yeah, and show everybody how good a team you are with that real pressure alleviated. Where the result, if you get a result, it's a bonus. But go out and play your football. Go out and show people, showcase your talent on the biggest stage of all, and show everybody, especially those in England, that you can play, and we're not some kind of, backwater, this season, and I don't listen to him per se, but it clogs up my phone and my screen now and again. Guys like Jason Cundy, who labelled Celtic an embarrassment in Europe. I think you'll find that Celtic are above the English Premier League champions in the Champions League phase at this moment in time.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about an embarrassment?
Not just at this moment in time, we will finish ahead of Man City, regardless of Wednesday.
So you want to talk about an embarrassment? Guys like that who go on, and they have a huge platform to spout this rubbish, utter garbage, and where people believe it. Celtic getting through to the playoff rounds is a wonderful achievement for a club of our stature. And we argued before, give us the embarrassment of riches that Man City have got. You'd win the Champions League again. You would win the English Premier League if you had access to that. That's a fact. So, I just want Celtic to go out on Wednesday, relax on it, and show everybody how good a football team they are, because they can do that. They're capable of it. You've just named the players there who are capable of doing that. And the manager just to say, guys, these are the nights you've got to enjoy. This is why you're in football. And go and claim a scalp and show people exactly who you are and what you're about, and come off that field proud of yourself and proud of your club. And that's all I want. And I think they're capable of that. I really do. And I think they're capable of going levels higher when the playoff round comes along.
And just to add one other wee bit of stuff that's happening this week, if there's not enough for the transfers and Wednesday night's game, Friday is the draw for the playoff round. So we'll know our opponents very soon. So it's all happening. So stick with us here on the Celtic Way and on the website as well, celticway.co.uk. So yeah, that's us for today. I've enjoyed this, Tony. So thanks very much. We'll catch up with you. I think you're on Wednesday's game, aren't you, down in Villa Park? So safe journey down there. Enjoy.
Yeah, we'll be on the pre-match and the post-match, and I think I'm back on with your good self on Friday. Look forward to that.
Good. Excellent. Right, thanks everyone for watching. We've had crazy numbers today. There's over 1,600 of you watching right now. So it's fair to say the Celtic support is engaged right now with what's happening, and we really appreciate you spending a bit of your Monday morning or evening or whatever time it is for you with us. We will return this time tomorrow.